are these people?
We're going to talk about Luigi. We got to talk about the Luigi. All right. Last week, we talked about, and we covered Eric Gross's article, which I thought was comprehensive in laying out all the different reasons that somebody would want to take out the United Healthcare CEO. What they hadn't done at that point was found a guy. All right. We had the photos, you know, the APBs and the Crime Stoppers nonsense or whatever. Already there were questions about whether this was the guy, because there was questions I didn't even put about the thing that he took a city bike and all the different things that we had already known that day. But there's been a series of weird shit that's happened around this character since he was identified, taken into custody. I got another thing I got to find from Tyler Pop real quick that he put in yesterday about the charge in New York.
Hurry up already, eh?
About the charge in New York, and that they couldn't find any charge on the books on any website in New York charging this guy, Luigi Mangione, with anything. I'm looking.
I'm Luigi, number one.
You know, I'm looking for it now. I just got to find it real quick. Come on, guy. Here it is. Bingo. Charges dropped, or what that is. Good. That's another one. All right. So we'll get to that later. But there's a ton of fishiness, and I figured what I would do is start with this one. All right. This is like a little summary of what happened the other day when he first got caught. All right. And I'm going to put this up in a second. I know I'm not putting it up yet. Here we go. Zap. All right. This was, again, date of December 9th. That was 6 days ago, last Monday. So we did the show. The next day, they find this guy and they put this up. The New York Police Department have taken 26-year-old Luigi Mangione as a person of interest in connection to the fatal shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. According to ABC News, quote, he was on a Greyhound bus traveling through Altoona on Monday morning, sources said, when he got off and walked into a McDonald's where a witness recognized him from the images of the suspect circulated by police. Mangione was sitting and eating when a McDonald's employee reported him, allegedly. During a news conference on Monday, New York City Mayor Eric Adams said that because of these details, officials believe they have a strong person of interest, which is really weird because it just tells me the opposite, and I'll explain why in a few minutes. During the news conference, it was reported that Mangione was carrying a handwritten document. New York PD Commissioner Jessica Tisch, we talked about her. She's also paid by the Israel government, responded, saying that that speaks to his motivation and mindset. Remember, we covered her when we talked about the Columbia protests, that she's the liaison between NYPD and Columbia University, too.
Yeah.
The police are now thoroughly examining his writings to gain a better understanding of his motives. Additionally, conveniently, he was found in possession of a fake New Jersey driver's license, similar to the one the suspect used to check into a hostel in New York City prior to the shooting. How convenient. Tisch praised the good old-fashioned detective work of the NYPD, which they didn't do anything of, and the power of the public that contributed to the arrest, which did do more, but I think we all should at least be suspicious that this is really NSA and social media spying, that when you say a product that you might be interested in buying, they show it to you in your news feed 20 minutes later, you think that's by accident? Fuck no.
Free weed.
Somebody said, and of course we have over at Hotspot, our friend clipped out from the gentleman in Pennsylvania who said, hey, I was eating with my friends and said, hey, that looks like the guy. And then, like, the employee says he overheard them say that.
It was a she.
No, it was an old man. No, the employee was a
an
woman.
Old lady.
The person who originally saw him in the restaurant was an old man sitting with a group of old men having coffee. All right.
Okay.
And then the employee overheard him say this to his buddies, and then reported him and called the cops. So it was like secondhand. They didn't even, and it turns out he was in the back. He was eating. They got a picture of him eating a hash brown. Again, was that even him? It's another picture. All right. Then they have him bringing him in
there in Pennsylvania.
And he yells out, "I'm a patsy."
Pennsylvania, taken in custody.
Just
in
like
Altoona.
Oswald.
Let's just listen in here to this.
He yells it out.
Yep. Listen.
All right, that was just Luigi Mangione as the strong person of interest in this case.
All right. Anyway, he didn't yell it out there, but
I didn't hear him.
He did yell out. Hold on.
He's taken into custody, led with his hands behind his back.
He was trying to yell at the last. A different angle of this shows that he was trying to yell out like, "I'm a patsy," or the American people know better.
There was something where he said, "Yeah," but he said it was like this is an insult to the American people.
Right.
All I heard.
Something like that. So
you just got Luigi'd.
There's no way you can honestly believe they found the United Healthcare CEO's killer 5 days later, and he's still wearing the exact same clothes, has the murder weapon on him, and has a written manifesto in his pocket. Just chilling at McDonald's with the weapon and a manifesto, right? My favorite part is the manifesto. Talk about how he respects them and the job they do. That was so funny. Right? And I'm not going to show the manifesto. All right? That's, again, the same tweet. Then I was, again, on with Truthwire. That's a 15-minute clip that you can find over on INN, and I will put that in the description as well. Check that out. I clipped that out. Now, this is something else I sent to Dr. Nick. This allegedly shows him dumping something at this pile of garbage right here. So if you watch this, and I don't believe there's sound to this, you see him stop at this pile, take something out, and like put it down or reach it. Some people say that they thought that was him possibly placing a murder weapon. I don't know. But he definitely stopped there, did something with that pile.
I don't know. I didn't see a gun there.
I didn't see a gun there either.
I
but
mean,
he
his
definitely
gun is like 1.5 feet long with suppressor on it. You'd think you'd see it.
Here, they're going to show it in slow-mo now. No, there's not supposed to be sound.
Yeah.
But you just watch it go up. And it stops right as he walks up to the pile. Okay.
Luigi time!
Here's another one. Luigi apparently had the weapon, manifesto, which thanked the feds, and the fake IDs on him when spotted at McDonald's. And now they're saying the gun matches and they found his prints at the scene? How dumb are y'all who are eating this up? Like, and I talked about...
Yep.
And I was going to bring it, and I decided, Dr. Nick, I'm not going to bring it. I talked to Reef about it. There's a 30-second clip from the movie Minority Report where Colin Farrell is investigating after the murder has happened in the movie, the big one. And he's talking with another cop. He says, I was a murder investigator for years, and what you see here is an orgy of evidence. And you know how many orgies I went to while I was a detective? The answer was none. Like, somebody did this. This was a setup. All right. And that's what I'm saying here. This is a setup. And the reason why I think, what's the motivation? The motivation is they've got to put a name out there. They've got to pin the blame on somebody. They've got to make this start to go away. And they can't let people believe that they could kill a powerful CEO in broad daylight in the middle of New York City and get away with it. They can't allow for that. So they got to get somebody. Here's another weird thing. I thought this was very funny. Y'all want to talk conspiracies? The real question is, how did that Greyhound bus fit on the Boulevard McDonald's parking lot? That's funny because they said there's a Greyhound bus station in Altoona that the bus allegedly pulled into, that he walked from there to a McDonald's. But here's what's even weirder. I live here. It is most definitely not anywhere near the Greyhound station. All right. And then I read another thing that said that there was a closer McDonald's to the Greyhound station, but he went to one 3.5 miles away. Like, why would he do that? How did he even get there if he was on foot? And he wouldn't have been able to get back on the bus that he was on because the bus was coming from Pittsburgh, allegedly. He went from New York City to
where
Pittsburgh.
Was it going?
Who the hell knows? Weird as shit, right? Even Ron Placone was, figured this out. If the guy was going to take a Greyhound, I'd imagine he'd take the Toronto bus because Ron, remember, is from Pittsburgh, so he knows it wouldn't make sense to go any other way. And guess where that route doesn't stop? Altoona.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that it proves or disproves anything. Of course it doesn't. I'm just saying I wouldn't take this with a grain of salt. I'd take it with an entire ocean full. So he's even skeptical. Our old friend Ron. Indie left that news. My kids still sing it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I like this lady, Amazing Polly. She's got a lot of people pissed off, and occasionally I know, she gets a lot of stuff right. She's been calling out this mainstream alternative media and this new normal narrative and who the players are and who the funders are. And I think she's been pretty damn accurate. She says here, and she was off Twitter for a while. She came back a couple weeks ago. Are people seeing that McDonald's is now a sponsor of sorts of the narrative network? Product placement in fake news. It's a thing. If you pay attention to this, you'll see that this isn't even the first company to participate. Doritos, because the upside down triangle chips seem to fit with another narrative. So somebody points out about the BDS campaign. I had a great back and forth with this lady earlier today, Aisha, about Michael Schellenberger. We'll be probably getting further into that guy's background and the tangle web that he's involved with. All right. But I also found this further down in the replies.
Uh-huh.
So, of course, funny how that keeps popping up. And we know
bit
that
of a stretch, though, isn't it?
Trump's always been a McDonald's fan. Him standing at the White House in front of the spread for all the college kids, but it is being inserted repeatedly into this new normal narrative, which she has been finding. All right. And then, of course, Trump tweets this out yesterday because New Jersey drones. Chris Christie is the former governor of New Jersey.
Yep.
Product placement. Got to have him getting delivered McDonald's by those drones. That's what all the drones are doing. Ha ha ha. They're delivering dinner to Chris Christie. Hilarious. Except that Chris Christie lost most of the weight, if I remember correctly. Or at least had like the Ozempic or the surgery.
Yeah.
Now, what I thought was funny is her talking about McDonald's. Well, Luigi should have gone to the closest Waffle House. He grew up in a rich family, so he didn't know. But take notes. If you're running from the police, go to Waffle House, not McDonald's. Everyone there will impart knowledge to help you on the legs of your journey away from police.
Yeah. Very much so.
I thought that was kind of funny and clever. Right? Go to Waffle House, don't go to McDonald's. Fuck yeah. Although Waffle House employees are abused as shit. And of course, you know all about the Waffle House index when it comes to hurricanes and tornadoes. Basically, as bad as it gets, the last thing in the world that they'll close is a Waffle House. So if the minute they start closing Waffle Houses, you know you better get the fuck out. That's the Waffle House index. All right. Then we get into the real deep conspiracy theory stuff that Dr. Nick showed me earlier today. And he said, did you hear anything about Diddy's attorney being married to Luigi's attorney? Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Oof. And that there was, an Epstein tie and this sex trafficking ring, Annex IVM.
Allegedly.
The lawyers, no, that's not allegedly. These are really happening, and people went to jail for this. This really happened, right?
Okay.
Diddy's attorney.
Yeah, I'm talking about the connections with the attorney.
Well, Diddy's attorney worked on the RICO case, was involved with Harvey Weinstein and Darren Indike's criminal defense attorney while he took control of Epstein's estate. 2 days before Epstein's suicide, in jail, he names Darren Indike and Richard Kahn in his will as his estate's executors responsible for locating his assets and distributing them. Darren Indike was Epstein's lawyer for over 25 years, so that would make sense. But Mark Agnifilio was representing Indike during the asset and estate distribution of Epstein. So you've got the lawyer representing Epstein's lawyer is now also representing Diddy. All right.
Sure.
So that's first. And then you've got Diddy's lawyer is married to Luigi's lawyer. That's weird. But what's worse is that Luigi's lawyer also works for the Meidas Touch.
Sure.
Karen Friedman
Everything that touches
Agnifilo is the co-host of the progressive legal commentary show Meidas Touch, uses her platform to advocate for reform and discuss pressing legal issues. Known for her progressive stance on causes like criminal justice reform and voting rights. Her outspoken left-leaning views have both drawn support and criticism, but her supporters argue that her legal acumen transcends partisanship. All right. Ben Micieles, he's the head of the Meidas Touch guy, he's also one of the co-hosts. So basically, he's funding, co-hosting this, and amplifying and supporting her. And by the way, nobody is seeing this stuff. All right. This is getting buried. It's real, but it's getting buried. Well, you know why. All right. She's also a former district attorney who helped prosecute the Weinstein case, known to be a legal expert, and has appeared on CNN. Also sus, because now you're talking about partisan hackery. Meidas Touch is a Democratic shitlib millionaire-funded outlet by this guy. They have like a couple of 100,000 subscribers on their Substack newsletter. Insane. I'm sure half of them are bots, but it looks good. Right now, here's the other thing I wanted to show you is there even a case in New York at this point? So
did New York just drop all the charges against Luigi Mangione? That is the question we are now asking. We also can see that there is a motion for transport of the prisoner. So now questions are really being raised. So looking through the New York City court system here, we can actually see that there are no charges on record for the case against Luigi Mangione whatsoever.
What?
Through the Pennsylvania side, there is actually a
What happened?
order granting for a motion to transport the prisoner. But the question is, do they have the wrong guy? That is what everyone is asking. Now, when you look at this, you're going to say, well, there surely was just charges a few days ago, wasn't there? And yes, there was. This was actually the case details here, where there was one count of intentional murder, loaded firearms charges, and the silencer charge here. But now there is nothing slated on the docket whatsoever here as you look through the case details. Lots of questions are to be asked, and hopefully we can actually get some answers to this.
How about that shit? Shout out to Austin Airs TV on that. And I haven't seen anybody talk about that. that it's off the New York docket. You can't find it on a website anywhere. What happened? Huh. Weird. Again, I don't think Luigi did it. I don't think it was him. I think they needed to find somebody, and they needed a patsy. They have AI technology beyond belief. Clearview AI is a organization that works with police and FBI to help identify people who would fit a profile. Between that and Palantir's social media targeting, they could easily find somebody who looked close enough to the profile to make this work, start to build a backstory, and create enough confusion to get enough people behind him or against him that a narrative will form and the truth will never be able to come out from there if he wasn't the shooter.
I did it.
Maybe, maybe not. My feeling was not. I mean, there was a thing about the eyebrows, and I know Screw Google was in the comments this week saying, you know, there could be different cameras, different resolution, showing it different ways. I agree with that, different colors or whatever. The clothing being the same, I mean, it was the same jacket. It might have been a different shading because those were different
jacket,
cameras.
same bag, apparently. Like, you haven't changed shit in 3 days.
But you haven't broken down a murder weapon and gotten rid of it in 5 days? Come on, man. Like, everybody's watched all
did he not wash his hands, too? Like...
Right, and they say that they found a water bottle at the youth hostel that he was at beforehand, and with a fingerprint. I mean, all of this. The Mickey does kiosk surveillance. That's very funny. Oh, the Mickey D's kiosk surveillance. Oh, right, I forgot about that. A Clearview. There was suspicion that McDonald's, all their kiosks have facial recognition. That's another way that Clearview could have easily known when Luigi walked into the restaurant. He walked up to order and they had a facial recognition thing, again, that fit close enough to a profile that had been programmed in that would alert law enforcement. And that's part of the reason why they're saying that now the McDonald's employee might not even get the $60,000 because they didn't call a certain hotline. They called their local police instead. How about because they didn't actually get the guy, and that's not the guy. But I remember also watching, what the hell was the name of that movie with Gene Hackman and Will Smith, where Will Smith is running from the law and they're listening in on everybody's cell phones, and they plug in a keyword, and the minute somebody in a region says this, they get a thing, and they've got a team there like right away. I can't think of the name. Great movie, by the way, and incredible cast, the whole thing. But that technology has been around for 25 years. We know they can do that kind of shit. So take it with a grain. I take all of this stuff with a grain, but either way, enemy of the state. Thank you, Lone Star Viz. Good to see you, bro. Enemy of the state, great cast. What's her name? Lisa Bonet is in it. And the woman who plays his wife, she's great. I mean, everybody is that's a good movie. Another conspiracy theory movie that they're paranoid because they're fucking with you, you know. And that's where at the end, Gene Hackman bugs their smoke detector, and he has a camera listening, and then he can hack into their TV, and he puts something up on the set. Very, very good movie. And again, way, way ahead of its time with the technology and what the NSA was doing domestically. And then they would just say, well, I was just told it was a training op. You know, and there is a lot more than just this. I just covered a small bit of the shady shit around what happened here. And that's why I got big questions, and I'm convinced that this wasn't the guy and that they need to find somebody. And eventually we may find out who did it, or we may never find out. Let's go show everyone the amazing INN supporters wall of fame. Thank you so much to everybody who has already contributed and supported INN and independent media, and, you know, supported the media they want to see, because we don't have advertisers. We don't have corporate donors or supporters, corporate funders. We don't read promo codes. We don't pitch product. Although we do have a merch store now. We've got you guys. So again, thank you so much. We were on a value for value system. So if you feel like you're getting value out of the content here and from all the other shows on the network, as well as the daily updates, the Substack newsletter, everything that we do, anything you can do, the ways to do that, we're on that board right there. And that's Cash App, Ko-fi, PayPal, Patreon, or subscribe at innnewsletter.com. You see all that going along the bottom. You can find all the links at indienews.network. And thanks for watching and for supporting independent media.